Joining us for a little bit is United States Senator John Kennedy. Hey, Mr. John, welcome back to KEEL. How are you today?
I am well. Thanks, guys.
Big vote yesterday, and I don't want to say you were you've been called one of the ones who jumped the fence. Let me bring everybody up to date. You voted yesterday to rescind a move made by the FCC, specifically Chairman Ajit Pai, to rescind the Obama-era net neutrality regulations. Let's start there. Tell us why. What was the biggest motivation, the driving motivation in your vote?
I think the Internet ought to be free. I mean, here's what happened. It's simple. They made it complicated. A year ago, the chairman of the FCC, which has jurisdiction over the Internet, a gentleman by the name of Ajit Pai, he changed the law. He said the new rule is that we're going to give to the cable companies, or wherever you get your Internet, the power to decide which websites download quickly, which websites download slowly, and which websites don't download at all. They don't have to show them to you.
So the more I paid them, the quicker my site would download, right?
Yeah. I mean, they could offer you packages, and you could pay more money. They ask you, they tell you to pay more money. And their response, and they also said, and if you don't like what our new deal is, just switch. Well, the problem with that is most people only have one Internet provider. They're in the free market. In America, about 19% of all Americans have access to one Internet provider that can offer download speeds of 25 megabits a second, which is the minimum you need. In Louisiana, there's 22% of our people have access to only one. So if the cable company comes in and says, if you want to watch Netflix, or if you want to look at Google News or Breitbart, you got to pay extra. They can't switch. And to me, the issue is real simple. How much do you trust your cable company? If you trust them, then you don't like the way I vote. If you don't trust them, or if you just figure they're business people, and they are, there's nothing wrong with it. Their job is to get more money for their shareholders. Then you're going to like my vote.
But they said, they've said all along, we're not going to do that. We're not going to charge more. That wouldn't happen.
Hold on, kids.
They shouldn't be upset.
Let me go in the other direction, Mr.
I'm with you.
Isn't this, you're a free market guy, Mr. John. Isn't this more government oversight, and including price controls?
Yeah, but we don't have a free market. It's kind of like back in the 1930s. People have, of course, that's history a long time ago, but 1920s, 1930s, a lot of people didn't have electricity in America because the utility said, "Man, we're not going to run a line out to Bucksnort, New Mexico, because it's not worth it." And the government had to, and there was no free market.
So pardon me,
the government had to step in and say, "No, look."
Basically, this is this turning, and a lot of people have said this, turning the Internet into a utility. Is that your stance?
They are. They're utility in the sense that they have a monopoly, and they're utility in the sense that Internet is a necessity, like telephones, electricity, water. I don't want to regulate them half to death. I want them to just say a cable company doesn't have the right to tell you what you can watch on the Internet. I mean, when I go to get a telephone, the telephone company can't tell me who I can call. And when I talk to them, they can't tell me what I can say.
Or charge you more for calling different people in the same place.
Yeah, that's all this is. And I don't see it as a Democrat or Republican issue. I see it as do you trust or do you not trust the cable company? I'm not mad at the cable companies. Their job is to make money for their shareholders.
But John, pardon me once
again. In 5 or 10
years,
years, this won't be an issue because we'll have 5G, which will be available to everybody. I hope it'll be available to everybody, and it's lightning fast, and then there will be competition.
But hasn't the Internet worked just fine without net neutrality for X number of years?
Yeah, they say that, but the Internet has changed so quickly. People say, well, it worked 10 years ago. Yeah, but there was no there was no Netflix. There was no video streaming.
And isn't this just imposing rules that it's like the old swine flu joke, a cure for which there's no known disease?
Not for me. I mean, if then the cable companies say we would never do that, we would never make you pay more to go to Breitbart, or they say we would never take the position that we disagree with Breitbart and you can't watch it. Well, then what are they worried about?
Well, even one big one, AT&T blocked Skype because it was competing against their own service. There have been lots of instances.
There have been a bunch of instances that some of the cable companies don't like to talk about where they got caught. And the FCC slapped them down and fined them big time.
Your colleague,
and
Senator...
sometimes it was to get more money. Sometimes it was to block their competition. If you're a cable company and you own a company that makes movies that you can watch on the Internet, the cable company may want to say, well, we're going to block Netflix, so you have to use our service. And you say, well, it's a free market. They ought to be able to do that. I agree if it were a free market.
Senator Ed Markey said, and I'm quoting, net neutrality is the free speech issue of our time. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it is free speech. I believe in freedom of connection. I think if you pay for an Internet connection, you ought to be able to watch what you want to as long as it's legal. I mean, you can't, certain types of pornography, that's unacceptable. But I don't think it ought to be up to the cable companies to say, well, you can't watch that. I mean, what could happen here, my worry, is that with cable TV, you got to buy certain packages. You can't just go in and say, I want that one, but not that one. I want that one, not that. They say these packages. And I'm afraid that that's what the Internet's going to turn out to be if we give the cable companies this authority. And I don't think a lot of people don't like the cable packages. That's why you see people moving to Roku and Netflix and other services like that so they can go around their cable company.
So what's the rest of the process? Off to the House side now? I know that there's talk about...
Go to the House, and then it'll go to the president. Now, the cable companies say that the president opposes the idea of a free Internet. And he may. I mean, he's the president, and he has his own opinions. I've never heard him say that. I mean, I've never heard him say that it's okay for a cable company to tell you can't watch something on the Internet unless you give them more money. I've never heard him say that.